Layla and Oliver Morrison's townhouse in a quiet suburban neighborhood of Chicago appeared perfectly ordinary from the outside, blending seamlessly with the surrounding homes. I had no idea my carefully constructed life was about to shatter into pieces. I work as a physical therapist at Northwestern Memorial's Rehabilitation Center. After long days of helping patients rebuild their strength and mobility, I always feel a wave of joy wash over me when I see my 8-year-old daughter Zoe's face light up as I walk through the door. My shoulder-length chestnut hair frames a face where determination battles with the shadows of exhaustion beneath my eyes from the intense focus my work demands. Yet I always manage to put on my brightest smile for my daughter. "Mom, look. I made this on my tablet." Zoe excitedly holds up her device, displaying a vibrant digital drawing she created using the art app Oliver had installed for her last birthday. "That's beautiful, sweetheart." I take her tablet and pause to fully appreciate her creation before setting it on the charging stand. The digital artwork depicts 3 figures, a father, a mother, and Zoe herself in the center, all holding hands against a background of swirling colors. A knot forms in my chest as I notice the notification bar on my phone still empty. Oliver hasn't been physically home for nearly 3 months, with his essential client project keeping him away. Oliver works as an IT security consultant for major corporations and swept me off my feet 13 years ago in graduate school with his confident charisma and seemingly genuine warmth. His practical approach to problem-solving had impressed me as I pursued my master's in physical therapy. Our marriage had appeared solid, at least on the surface. After Zoe was born, we both threw ourselves into creating the perfect balance of career success and family time, curating what our neighbors often referred to as the ideal modern family. 3 months ago, however, everything began to shift when Oliver announced he'd been assigned to an important client with significant security challenges. That evening, his expression was serious as he packed his laptop bag. "This client needs on-site security oversight. I'll be traveling for the project and working remotely when possible for a while." I was surprised but immediately shifted into problem-solving mode. "I see. That sounds intense. Maybe Zoe and I could join you on weekends? It would be good for her to see different cities." Oliver immediately dismissed the suggestion, his response coming too quickly. "That won't work. The client is extremely security conscious. No visitors, no distractions. The project requires complete focus and discretion." His tone carried an edge I rarely heard, and he seemed strangely defensive. "But Zoe and I are part of your life too, aren't we?" I said softly, watching as Oliver's expression relaxed slightly. "Of course you are. But right now, this project is crucial for my career. It's just temporary, so you understand, right? We need this." For the past 3 months, Oliver's promised weekend video calls had gradually decreased in both quality and frequency. Our text conversations had dwindled to brief messages about logistics, with most of my updates about Zoe's school achievements receiving nothing but red receipts. His social media showed business dinners and conference rooms, but oddly, the location tags rarely matched where he claimed to be working. I scroll through our message history on my phone while stirring the pasta sauce for dinner. My message from last night still sits with 2 blue check marks, which was read, but unanswered. Zoe, fresh from school, sits cross-legged on the couch, her tablet propped on her knees as she alternates between drawing and glancing at the door. "When is Dad coming home?" Zoe looks up, her observant eyes searching my face for clues. "As soon as his big project wraps up. Dad's working really hard right now." My smile feels tight across my face as I try to maintain a positive tone. Zoe's expression clouds over with disappointment. "But I want to show him my science fair medal. And I want to see the cool hotel rooms he stays in." I gently stroke my daughter's hair, my fingers lingering in her soft curls. "I know, honey." The words catch slightly in my throat. Seeing my bright, perceptive daughter missing her father tears at something deep inside me. The growing distance between Oliver and me has planted seeds of anxiety that are increasingly difficult to ignore. The next day during lunch break at the hospital, I show my colleague, Fiona Lynn, the string of increasingly sparse text conversations on my phone. Fiona has been my friend since graduate school 15 years ago and has always offered clear-sighted perspectives. Something doesn't add up here, Fiona's words cut through my denial as she scrolls through Oliver's Instagram feed. Look at this post from Tuesday, he tagged himself at a conference in Denver, but didn't he tell you he was in Seattle all week for that banking client? Staring at the evidence on the screen, I feel doubt crystallizing into something harder and colder in my chest. That night, when Zoe asks about her father while I tuck her in, I make a decision that sends adrenaline coursing through my veins. Hey, Zoe, what if we use that location sharing app Dad installed on our phones and surprise him this weekend? We could see where he's working. Zoe bolts upright in bed, eyes wide with excitement. Really? When can we go? This Saturday. But it's a secret mission, okay? Don't text Dad about it. I smile at her conspiratorial nod, but my stomach churns with a mixture of dread and determination. Over the next few days, I prepare meticulously, purchasing a sleek new smartwatch Oliver had mentioned wanting for his collection and downloading his mother Eleanor's favorite audiobooks for her recovery. On the surface, I'm planning a thoughtful family reunion. But underneath, I'm compiling screenshots of contradictory social media posts, noting the times his phone goes into battery-saving mode precisely when I ask where he is, and tracking the growing feeling that the man I married is leading a life I know nothing about. On Saturday morning, Zoe and I climb into our SUV and set off to track Oliver's location, following the blinking dot on my phone's tracking app. Zoe hums excitedly to herself in the back seat, occasionally asking questions about our spy mission. I watch her animated reflection in the rearview mirror, her innocence creating a painful contrast to my growing suspicions. The Chicago suburbs gradually give way to more affluent neighborhoods as I follow the navigation prompts, each mile increasing the tension in my shoulders. As I grip the steering wheel, memories flood back of when I first met Oliver's mother, Eleanor, during our graduate school days. Dad always said Eleanor makes the best chocolate chip cookies in the world, right? Zoe's voice pipes up from the back seat. Yes, she really does, I reply with a forced smile. In truth, Eleanor Morrison had initially been warm and supportive of our relationship. During our first years of marriage, she invited us to every family gathering and cultural event. When Zoe was born, she even stayed for 2 weeks to help us adjust to parenthood. The claim that she needed special care had genuinely concerned me when Oliver first mentioned it. Will Grandma be okay? Zoe asks, her voice tinged with worry. I'm sure she will, I answer brightly, hiding my confusion. The reality is that I've received almost no actual details about Eleanor's supposed health issues. Oliver had mentioned something vague about cardiac concerns, but deflected when I asked for specifics. As I follow the GPS directions to an upscale neighborhood I've never visited before, the scenery transforms into expansive properties with manicured landscapes. We're getting close, I tell Zoe, who presses her nose against the window. Wait. I slow the car as I check the address against the location on my tracking app. This exclusive gated community is nothing like the modest suburban home where Eleanor has lived for decades. What's even more surprising is the property itself, a stunning modern home with professional landscaping and a 3-car garage visible from the street. Is this where Dad's staying for work? Zoe asks, clearly impressed. I am not sure, I answer truthfully. What catches my eye next is a sleek electric scooter parked beside the garage, smaller than adult-sized, but clearly more expensive and sophisticated than Zoe's basic model. Mom, look at that cool scooter. Who does it belong to? Zoe points excitedly. I don't know, honey. Maybe it belongs to someone who lives nearby, I reply, my unease growing with each second. After parking on a side street where our car won't be immediately visible, I check my appearance in the mirror. I've dressed carefully today in a sleek navy dress that Oliver once complimented, and even scheduled an early morning salon appointment for a blowout. A bitter taste fills my mouth as I realize I'm still trying to look perfect for a man who might be living a complete lie. Ready for our surprise visit? I ask Zoe with forced cheerfulness, though anxiety floods my chest. Fiona's warning echoes in my mind, the location tags don't match his stories. As we walk toward the house, checking the location app one more time to confirm we're in the right place, a woman walking a golden retriever approaches from across the street. With a jolt, I recognize her from Eleanor's social media posts, Patricia Weber, Eleanor's book club friend. Well, if it isn't Layla. Patricia calls out with genuine surprise. It's been ages since I've seen you. And is this Zoe? My goodness, you've grown so tall. She says. Hello, Patricia, I manage to reply, maintaining my composure. It's nice to see Eleanor doing so well with her community involvement again, Patricia continues warmly. I just saw her leading the charity auction at the community center last weekend. Such energy for a woman her age. She says. I feel as though the ground beneath me is shifting. Eleanor has been actively involved in community events? According to Oliver, she could barely manage daily activities without assistance. I understood she wasn't feeling well recently, I say cautiously, watching Patricia's reaction. Oh. That's strange, Patricia tilts her head in confusion. She seemed perfectly fine organizing the entire spring fundraiser. And those events she's been hosting at this lovely new place are simply wonderful, she says. Events? The word escapes my lips before I can stop it. Yes, the family gatherings. Oliver seems so happy these days, Patricia continues obliviously. And that little boy, Hunter, I think? He is absolutely adorable. Such a charming child, always hugging Eleanor and calling her grandma. It's heartwarming to see them all together, she continues. I feel dizzy with shock, the world tilting sideways as Patricia's words sink in. Oliver has been here with another child? A boy who calls Eleanor a grandma? Mommy? Zoe tugs at my hand, looking up with confusion written across her face. I force myself back to reality, plastering on a calm expression I don't feel. Thank you for catching us up, Patricia. We should let you continue your walk, let's catch up properly soon. I quickly take Zoe's hand and start walking toward the imposing modern house. Is Eleanor really okay? Zoe asks, her analytical mind already working through the contradictions. It seems that way, I answered distractedly, my thoughts racing through possibilities. Has Oliver been lying to me this entire time? Why create such an elaborate deception? And who is this little boy Patricia mentioned? 20 yards from the house entrance, I pause to collect myself. I pull out my phone and send a quick text to Fiona, we found him. Something is very wrong. We'll update you soon. Her response appears almost instantly, trust your instincts. I'm here for whatever you need. I take a deep centering breath, the kind I teach my rehabilitation patients when they face painful exercises. We'll get through this, I whisper to myself, drawing on years of professional composure. Everything will make sense soon. Zoe squeezes my hand, her excitement palpable. We'll see Dad now? Her eyes shine with anticipation, making my heart ache. I try to smile reassuringly, but anxiety floods my chest as we walk up the stone pathway to the front entrance. Standing before the sleek modern door with its frosted glass panels, I raise my hand to press the doorbell. That's when I notice the door is slightly ajar, perhaps from a recent delivery or someone forgetting to close it completely. I freeze, my finger hovering over the doorbell button. From inside comes the sound of animated conversation, Oliver's familiar laugh, a woman's voice responding warmly, and Eleanor's distinctive tone, sounding far more energetic than someone supposedly requiring constant care. It's Dad. Zoe moves eagerly toward the door, but I instinctively place my hand on her shoulder to stop her. Wait, I whisper, my professional instinct for careful assessment taking over. Something feels profoundly wrong. My pulse quickens as all the inconsistencies of the past months suddenly align into a terrible pattern. Zoe looks up at me with growing confusion. What's wrong, Mom? She asks. I choose my words carefully, drawing on the same gentle directness I use with patients facing difficult diagnoses. Let's just observe for a moment before we go in, I say. Zoe, always sensitive to emotional undercurrents, nods and cautiously peeks through the narrow opening of the door. Several seconds pass before her expression transforms, bewilderment, confusion, and then something deeper, more painful crossing her young features. She turns back to me, her face pale. Mom, you should look, she whispers, her voice trembling in a way I've never heard before. I bend down to peer through the gap, and the scene before me confirms my worst suspicions. The spacious, sunlit living room showcases modern furniture I've never seen before. Oliver sits on a designer sofa with a woman nestled comfortably beside him. She appears to be around my age, with shoulder-length blonde hair styled in an elegant bob, wearing the kind of casual luxury clothes that populate Oliver's Instagram feeds. Her head rests on his shoulder while his arm encircles her waist in a gesture of familiar intimacy. At their feet, a boy around 6 plays with what looks like an expensive robotics construction set spread across a plush area rug. Then Eleanor appears from what must be the kitchen, carrying a tray of refreshments. Her movements are fluid and energetic, showing no sign of the debilitating condition Oliver had described. "Oliver, Avery, I made those protein smoothies you like," Eleanor announces cheerfully. "Hunter, I brought those special organic fruit snacks you wanted," she says. "Thanks, Grandma." The little boy, Hunter, jumps up eagerly, his face lighting up. My heart hammers painfully against my ribs. "Grandma?" This child calls Eleanor a grandma with such natural affection. Avery must be this woman's name, and Hunter is. "Dad, can we finish building my robot now?" Hunter pats Oliver's knee insistently. "You promised we'd program it today," he says. Oliver smiles down at the boy with undisguised affection, the same tender expression he once reserved for Zoe's achievements. "Sure, buddy," Oliver responds, ruffling the boy's hair affectionately. "Let's just help Mom and Grandma set up for lunch first," he says. "Mom?" The word stabs through me like an icicle. Oliver just called this woman Hunter's mother. My knees weaken as Oliver leans over to kiss the woman, Avery, on the lips. It's not a passionate kiss, but something more devastating, the casual, comfortable affection of a long-established relationship. "Mommy." Zoe's voice breaks as she tries to speak, confusion and hurt evident in every syllable. I instinctively cover her mouth with my hand. "Shh," I whisper through lips that won't stop trembling. If Zoe calls out now, we'll lose the chance to understand what's happening. I need another moment to process this nightmare unfolding before us. Tears well up in Zoe's eyes, a reflection of betrayal too complex for her young mind to fully comprehend. I gently guide her away from the door to a small garden alcove where we won't be seen. "Was that really Dad?" Zoe asks, her voice small and fragile. "Who are those people? Why did he call that boy his buddy?" My thoughts crash against each other like waves in a storm, but I force myself to remain steady for my daughter. "I don't know everything that's happening yet, Zoe, but I promise I'll find out," I say. With shaking hands, I pull out my phone and open the video recording function. As a healthcare professional, I've learned the importance of documenting accurately. Now those skills serve a different purpose. "Stay here for just a moment, sweetheart. I need to gather some information," I say to Zoe. I silently return to the door, holding my phone carefully to capture what's happening inside. The domestic scene continues, Oliver helping Hunter with his robotics kit, Avery arranging something on her tablet, Eleanor watching with obvious satisfaction. They look like a perfect family portrait, one that has no space for Zoe or me. "Oliver, I'm so glad you finally have a proper family now," Eleanor's voice comes through clearly on my recording. "I told you for years that Layla was too independent-minded for you. Too focused on her career. Avery understands what a man like you needs," she says. My chest constricts painfully. So Eleanor had never accepted me? Despite her warm exterior, she'd been undermining our marriage from the beginning? "I know, Mom," Oliver's voice continues casually, as if discussing the weather. "I've been talking with the lawyers about moving forward with divorce proceedings. We just need to wait until the timing is right for the announcement," he continues. "What if Layla discovers what's happening?" Avery asks, concern evident in her tone. Oliver laughs dismissively, sending ice through my veins. "Don't worry about that. Layla's too wrapped up in her patient's recovery stories to notice anything. She's trusting to a fault. Mention a high-profile client security project, and she stops asking questions," he says. Raw anger flares through me, displacing the shock temporarily. Is that how he sees me? As naive and easily manipulated? But what about Zoe? Avery presses, glancing at Hunter. "She is your daughter, after all," she says. Oliver shrugs with casual indifference that makes my blood freeze. "Layla will get primary custody." I'll do the standard every other weekend thing if I have to. But honestly, Hunter is enough for me. Zoe's too analytical. Always questioning everything. Hunter's much more easygoing. The words slam into me with physical force. Oliver isn't just betraying me. He's willing to abandon his relationship with our brilliant, sensitive daughter. I stop the recording, my hands shaking from a potent mixture of rage and resolve. The tears welling in my eyes aren't from heartbreak, but from indignation and fierce determination. I've captured enough evidence. There's no need to witness any more of this betrayal. I return to Zoe, who sits huddled against a decorative boulder in the landscaped garden, silent tears streaming down her face. I wrap my arms around her, holding her close enough to feel her small body trembling. "Let's go, sweetheart," I say softly but firmly. "Aren't we going to see Dad?" Zoe asks, confusion threading through her pain. "Not right now, but everything will be okay." I brush her hair back from her damp face. "Mom is here, and I'm not going anywhere," I say to her. We make our way back to the car without being detected, slipping away from the house that represents such a profound deception. My mind has shifted into the clear, analytical mode I rely on when developing complex rehabilitation plans for patients with traumatic injuries. Once in the car, Zoe's composure finally breaks completely. Her sobs fill the back seat, cutting straight through my heart. I turn around and take her small hand in mine, squeezing it gently. "Zoe, listen to me. We are strong, you and I. No matter what happens next, I will protect you with everything I have. This is incredibly difficult right now, but we will absolutely get through this together." "But Dad, he..." Zoe struggles to articulate the enormity of what she's witnessed. "Your father made terrible choices, but that has nothing to do with you." I make sure my voice carries absolute conviction. "This is not your fault." "Not one bit of it," I say. I start the engine, a strange clarity emerging through the storm of betrayal raging in my chest. For the first time in months, I know exactly what needs to be done. From our room at a modern hotel overlooking the Chicago skyline, I explain everything to Fiona via video call while watching the city lights reflect off Lake Michigan. My voice remains surprisingly steady, the professional calm I've developed through years of working with patients in crisis serving me well now. The initial shock has transformed into a focused determination. "I can't believe he would do this." Fiona's face on my screen shows genuine outrage. "Creating an entire second family while using your daughter's college fund? What are you planning to do?" she asks. "I'm still working out the details," I answer with more honesty than I've allowed myself in months. "But I'll make decisions based on what's best for Zoe and me, not on what hurts him most." "Drive back tonight," Fiona urges, concern evident in her expression. "You can stay with us. You shouldn't be processing this alone," she says. "Thank you." Her support warms me, a reminder that not all relationships are built on deception. "But tonight we'll stay here. I need to organize my thoughts and make some important calls before we return," I say. After ending the call, I check on Zoe. She has finally fallen asleep, emotionally drained from the day's revelations. Her tablet, usually clutched in her hand, lies forgotten on the bedside table. I gently carry her laptop bag and backpack inside from the car, surprised by how light and vulnerable she suddenly seems in sleep. Placing her carefully on one of the twin beds, I finally allow myself a moment alone with my emotions. In the bathroom, I stare at my reflection in the mirror. My eyes are red and swollen from tears I didn't realize I'd shed, but behind the hurt I recognize something familiar, the same determined look I see in my patients' eyes when they decide they will heal, regardless of the odds. "You are stronger than this," I tell my reflection firmly. "You will rebuild," I whisper to myself. Taking out my phone, I scroll through my contacts until I find one I'd saved from a colleague's difficult divorce 2 years ago. Tamara Weston, Family Law. With a deep breath that feels like my first in hours, I make the call. "Weston Legal Services," a composed voice answers. "I'd like to speak with Tamara Weston, please." "This is Layla Morrison. I need to see her as soon as possible tomorrow morning." Early the next morning, Zoe and I visit Tamara Weston's office in a renovated industrial building downtown. Tamara waits for us in reception as promised, a commanding presence in her 50s with shrewd, assessing eyes. This is what I recorded yesterday, I say, handing over my phone with the video ready. I've also compiled screenshots of contradictory social media posts and location data. Tamara reviews the evidence methodically while I explain our situation. Zoe sits in a child-friendly waiting area with books and art supplies. This is compelling documentation, Tamara concludes professionally. You've gathered exactly what we need. Now let me outline our strategic approach, she says. That afternoon, I leave Zoe with my mother Marion at her suburban home. Concern crosses Marion's face immediately when she sees our expressions. What's happened? Are you two all right? Her nursing background makes her sensitive to distress. I'll explain everything later, Mom, I say, guiding Zoe inside. Zoe, could you stay with Grandma for a while? I need to handle some important matters. When are we going to see Dad? Zoe asks in a small voice that breaks my heart. Not today, sweetheart, but everything will be okay. I promise. I kiss her head gently. Outside, Tamara waits in her car for our next steps. Did you take care of the financial precautions? She asks as I join her. Yes, exactly as advised, I reply with calm competence. I've transferred half our joint assets and gathered all essential documentation, including Zoe's records. Good. Now let's call Oliver. With slightly trembling hands, I dial my husband's number. Layla, I'm in the middle of something. Can this wait? He answers distractedly. I keep my voice neutral, drawing on my professional experience. I understand. I'm just letting you know I'll be at a 3-day therapy conference. Zoe's staying with my mother. Oh, that's fine, Oliver replies with poorly hidden relief. I'll touch base later in the week. Sure. Talk to you later. I end the call, disturbed by how easily I deceived a man living a complete lie. Perfect, Tamara nods approvingly. Now we have time to prepare properly. Tomorrow, we'll draft all necessary documents. Everything is prepared. Tamara and I arrive at Eleanor's house in her electric sedan, our strategy meticulously planned. I take a steadying breath, feeling surprisingly calm. Are you ready? Tamara asks, her professional demeanor bolstering my confidence. Yes, I answer with conviction. It's time to end the deception, she says. We approach the front door purposefully, and Tamara rings the bell. Oliver opens it, shock spreading across his face. Layla? What are you doing here? His eyes dart nervously. You told me you were at a conference, he says. Hello, Oliver, I respond with clinical coolness. We need to talk, I continue. This isn't a good time, he protests quietly. My mother isn't feeling well. I laugh bitterly. Is that the problem? Or is it because Avery and Hunter are here? I ask. The color drains from Oliver's face as his facade crumbles. Who? I don't know what you're talking about, he stammers unconvincingly. Enough pretending, I state firmly. I know everything, Oliver, the double life, the lies, and your plans for Zoe's college fund, I say. Eleanor appears, her voice sharp with indignation. What is this commotion? You? How dare you show up unannounced? Eleanor, how are you today? I greet her with pointed politeness. I'm pleased to see your miraculous recovery from your supposed cardiac condition. Oliver, remove this woman immediately, Eleanor demands. That won't be happening, Tamara steps forward authoritatively. I'm Tamara Weston, family law attorney representing Layla Morrison. Avery appears behind them, attempting to hide Hunter who peeks around her curiously. I'll be brief, I say, entering despite their discomfort. Oliver, these are divorce petition citing abandonment and infidelity, with a petition for sole custody. Layla, if you'd just listen, we could work something out, Oliver pleads. Work out what exactly? I meet his gaze unflinchingly. Your double life? Your relationship with Avery and Hunter? The conspiracy with your mother? I ask. We have comprehensive evidence, Tamara adds calmly. digital records, location data, videos, and witness statements. I turn back to Oliver, feeling strangely liberated. Zoe and I don't need someone like you in our lives. Goodbye, Oliver, I say. My voice wavers slightly, but my resolve is unmistakable. Mom. Come see how I arrange my science corner. Zoe calls excitedly, bouncing around her teal-painted bedroom in our downtown condo. It's perfect, I say with genuine happiness, watching her organize her specimens and microscope slides. The divorce finalized smoothly thanks to Tamara's expertise and our solid evidence. I secured half our assets and full custody, while Oliver received supervised visitation he rarely uses. The hospital approved my flexible schedule, balancing my new responsibilities with attending Zoe's school events. As I unpack books, my mother Marian appears with coffee and cookies. Take a break, you two, she insists with gentle authority. You've been organizing since dawn. Marian has been essential to our new life, watching Zoe after school and offering maternal wisdom. My sister Vanessa visits every Sunday with medical journals for me and science kits for Zoe, a new family tradition we cherish. Fiona and her family will be here at 6, I mention, accepting the steaming mug. She's bringing Zoe's favorite vegetable lasagna to celebrate our new home, I say. Fiona's family has welcomed us into their lives, creating a support network that transcends mere friendship. Our condo buzzes with energy as we celebrate Zoe's 9th birthday. The living room displays her digital artwork and science experiments, creating a perfect blend of her talents. Marian, Vanessa, Fiona's family, and Zoe's school friends fill the space with laughter, while other friends join virtually on our wall-mounted screen. Happy birthday, Zoe. Everyone cheers as she blows out 9 candles on her science-themed cake. I capture the moment on my phone, proud of my daughter's resilience. Outside, Oliver sits in his car, looking haggard and worn. His fabricated life collapsed when Avery discovered yet another affair and left with Hunter. Eleanor suffered a genuine health crisis from the stress of Oliver's failing business. Their lifestyle crumbled without my income supporting his irregular earnings. Through our windows, the warm celebration is visible to him. Zoe has thrived, excelling academically and forming deeper friendships. Therapy has helped her understand that her father's abandonment reflects his failings, not hers. Mom. Zoe runs to me, proudly displaying her latest digital creation. Thank you for my party. This is the best birthday ever. I embrace her, grateful for our supportive community. Zoe, I say gently, remember something important. Family isn't defined by DNA or legal documents. True family is built on love, honesty, and showing up for each other every day. Outside, Oliver's car pulls away and disappears into traffic.